Hello and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Bishop Hassan Kuka urges President Buhari to address rampant insecurity in Nigeria. Says country is at a breaking point as bandits hit Katsina, kill 17. Trade Union Congress raises alarm, says minimum wage already eroded by inflation. Power generation wobbles as national grid collapses twice in 9 days. And later on the show, unusual police commissioner Olafimion Adoye honored in Osun State. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Ismail Omikpidon. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. When one of Nigeria's most charismatic preachers, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, shouted that the country is on the verge of collapse, then a lot is really amiss. Kuka, who is the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, said killings and kidnappings recorded in 20 out of 36 states of Nigeria are indications that Nigeria is at a breaking point. He said this in his Easter message, that the nation is sinking deeper and deeper into abyss of despair. He urged President Muhammadu Buhari to step up and offer solutions. Hardly were his words out when bandits hit Katsina. The bandits invaded Sherere community in Kankara local government area, killed 17 people, injured many, and abducted 2 women. But let's hear from Bishop Kuka.
It is a wake-up call. Our country is drifting. Our people are drowning. Our people are dying in a way and manner that outside Nigeria, I don't know any other country in the world where people can die for nothing and it doesn't mean anything to anybody. It is not right. It is morally unacceptable. It is morally intolerable. It is morally despicable. We cannot live in a country where human life is being treated with so much contempt.
Wow. Gentlemen, the rising state of insecurity, Father Matthew Kuka is somebody we know that is always speaking truth to power, and it's becoming alarming. Yesterday, we were talking about the Northeast, that, it might not be reported, but we still have Boko Haram still ravaging, Nigerians in the Northeast. When you come to the Northwest, you still have bandits, Zamfara. And even when you come down south, kidnapping is high. Even states like Lagos states that used to record very low crime rates, the spate of kidnapping in some axes in Lagos state right now, and even robbery, street robbery, and traffic robbery all around, Jide, it's becoming worrisome. And we notice that sometimes maybe at the exit of an administration or beginning of a new government, but we don't actually know what is responsible for this sudden spike in crime rates across the country.
Well, I think the fair thing to say is that we don't know why we have not been able to rein in rampant insecurity in our country. It is not correct to say there is a spike. The truth is, these criminal activities have been going on for some time. Now, if we look back at sometime before the election, because the killings were rampant, people were like, oh, are these killings related to politics? But you can't say that now, because we are through with the elections, and we're still having basically what we used to have before the election. It's continuing. It's continuing. President Kuka made that Easter submission. the Easter message to the president. And you saw what happened in Kaduna, the attack on Kajuru Castle, where a Briton was killed and a Nigerian aid worker killed, and they still took some people away. They took kidnappers away. I mean, the kidnappers took away innocent people who came to have some fun in the area. So the message that Father Kuka wants the president to take seriously is the fact that in 20 out of 36 states, there is rampant insecurity, kidnapping, other forms of crime are just going on, and we are unable to put an end to these killings. In Benue, I talked about the fact that we were able to defeat the constant killings by headsmen in Benue. But just a few days back, militiamen have returned to killing people in Benue. So everywhere you see security just tears us in the face. You cannot travel along Kaduna Abuja Expressway without the risk of being kidnapped.
People take train now.
Even big men who naturally should be in their convoy, backed by police escort, they are also entering the train, making it difficult for the poor people that the trains were designed for to get seats on the train. And why? Because you never can tell. Remember those white construction workers who were attacked on that road. Their police guards were killed. So if you have it maybe an Isuzu van filled up with policemen, it's no guarantee that the price target of those kidnappers would not be seized, because they could easily overwhelm those security men and still take away the person that they want to kidnap, because that's what happened to the white men. So now Nigerian big men have realized that it is risky to ply that road, no matter the number of police guards that they have. So they would rather go and enter the train. So you and I, poor people that the trains were designed for, we are finding it difficult to buy tickets.
Because the tickets, they've started ordering it.
So it's a terrible thing. I think this is a wake-up call for the president. I encourage people to speak the truth to power, because I'm convinced that majority of Nigerians still like the truth. They still appreciate the truth. And the president, we have seen that consistently when he gets told the truth, he ultimately will respond, as we have seen with Zamfara. Maybe not for the protest by Kadaria and co. Maybe we won't have the level of military operation that we have in Zamfara. So let people tell their president that, look, this is what is going on. So I agree absolutely with Father Kuka that something drastic has to be done about the deplorable state of security in our country.
Talking about security architecture, when you look at, we can still have the same guys, you know, apart from the Inspector General of Police that just came in, the acting one that just came in, but we still have all the military information, and we are faced with what we are faced with in the Northeast. And Mr. President has not deemed it fit, being a military man himself with experience in security matters. Why do you think it's taking time for Mr. President to change his service chiefs?
Well, I can only guess. I say so because I'm not a cabinet member, and I've not had any opportunity of speaking with Mr. President one-on-one to probably know why he's still keeping the service.
To ask him why.
Why?
Most Nigerians are asking.
Yeah, but from those who are very close to him, before the elections, what we heard was that he probably was keeping them because he was not sure of those who would take over from them, you know, before the election. But now that the elections are over, I wonder why Mr. President is still keeping it. Because you see, the truth is that no matter how good they are, no matter how good they are, no matter how efficient they have been in the past, I believe that they have done their bit. And I think bringing in new persons on board
New ideas.
Yeah, will help, ginger, the troops and the men that are being used to prosecute, because you see, the truth is, when you stay long in a particular place, you get to a stage you become complacent. It's natural. It's natural. You have given your all, no doubt. And we praise them for that. Because, you see, each time we talk about security, personally, I try to tell people that, look, I agree that whatever gains that were recorded in the fight against Boko Haram may have been overshadowed by herdsmen killing, kidnappings, whatever. But you see, the truth is that as somebody who lived in Kaduna all through those periods, who also lived in Abuja all through those periods before 2015, in terms of the Boko Haram menace, we cannot compare what we have today to what we had before 2015. No doubt about that. No doubt about it. Because I recall in those days in Kaduna, we select the days we go to mosques to pray early in the morning. And even during Juma service, there are times that you go to some mosques. You don't,
church service on Sunday.
Church services. You don't see
very frequent.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of people.
Churches.
Yeah, you don't see many worshippers going out because of fear of being attacked. And you see all those roadblocks that were also causing loss of manpower. We no longer see them. We agree they have done their bit, but you see, the truth is that whatever gains that may have been recorded in that regard appears to have been overshadowed by the herdsmen. So we need new ideas. We need new men to come on board. My problem with Mr. President is that, you see, it takes his time. And like some elders have said in the past,
himself.
Yes.
You know, they call him Baba go slow.
You see, the truth is that Nigeria is a country that requires a leader that is in a hurry to fix. When my elder brother was speaking earlier, it said that thank God for Kadiriat protest that led to the action that we saw. But I asked, must we wait for that? Because before that protest, even on this platform, we were shouting. Other Nigerians were shouting. So why did we have to wait?
We did a feature story on Zamfara.
He also went to
visuals.
Katsina. He went to Katsina and even some parts of my over there. So why should we have to wait until that protest before action? You see, the thing is, sometimes, I'm sorry to say, sometimes I feel that perhaps the president appears overwhelmed by some of these things, because you cannot tell me that, because we see him read papers, and I'm sure he listens to radios. So must he wait for protest to be staged before he takes action? For me, I don't think that should be an excuse, if you ask me.
But actually, when you look at in terms of statistics, in terms of manpower for the security guys and everything, to the crime rates that we have, when you look at from the north to the south, do you think that our security operatives are overwhelmed?
No doubt they are overwhelmed. No doubt our country is under-policed. We have to admit the truth. Policemen on ground across the states, there are no more than 300,000. I'm not talking about those whose duty is simply to
carry bags.
Go carrying bags for politicians. No.
Those ones.
Policemen involved in operations, policemen, securing our communities. There can't be more than 300,000. Because every year, policemen are retired. Every day, almost every day, they kill policemen. And we've not been able to consistently recruit into the force.
Consistently?
Recruit into the force. For like 4 or 5 years.
To service the deficit.
We did not bring in recruits into the police. It was the middle past IG that made that effort. For a long time, we didn't recruit, at least to cope with the departures from the force. So we are under police, no doubt. But when you look at a state like Zamfara, there are not less than 4,000 security agents policing Zamfara. There is an Air Force base there. In fact, we have special forces from the Air Force right there. We have civil defense there. We have soldiers. There's a military base there. We have the the Minister of Defense is from Zamfara, from one of the worst affected local government, Brene Magaji. That's where it comes from. So it may well be strategy that is the issue. Because if you look at some of the gains that we have made now in the last few days, we were not making those gains before. Right now, they are going after informants of the bandits. And traditional rulers are already being arrested. The deputy chairman of a local government has been arrested. So we have now seen that even if we put 1 million troops on ground, if people within communities are giving information about troops movement to the bandits, how are you going to kill them? I was telling you about yesterday about an Air Force officer who told me that they will go out on an operation, bomb everywhere. Because we know where these guys are. The 3 major forests where they plan their operations in Zamfara, we know. But he said when they get there, after dropping their bombs, and you know how expensive these bombs are. You know, in some cases, just one bomb costs about 12,000 euros. After dropping those bombs, you come back to do post operation analysis. And then you see that you have really not achieved anything. Because you merely drop bombs on an empty area.
Because they've left.
Because they've left.
Because the information had filtered.
The airplanes are flying at high altitude. It's not possible for them to see everything on ground. They just have to trust that, okay, the information that they were given that these guys are at this location is correct. And then you drop the bombs and those guys are not there. So now that we are identifying the saboteurs, the renegades in the communities, you can see that we are making progress. Well, fortunately, you know, I want that the states that are contiguous to Zamfara have to be policed. We've seen what happened now in Katsina with 17 persons killed. In Kankara local government. Kankara local government is close to Safe, which is one of the worst hit areas. So when you bomb them, they can easily move from there into Kankara local government and begin to kill people. And there are other local governments like that. So you are hitting them in Benengwari, they go into Sabua, in Katsina, and they kill people. So let the attack be simultaneous, so that there's no escape route for them.
All right, moving on now. Generally, rising the minimum wage of the country means raising the living standards and the standard of living of the citizens. But the case of Nigeria may defy this assumption. According to the Trade Union Congress, TUC, the 30,000 naira new minimum wage recently signed into law may have little or no effect on purchasing power of workers. Reacting to the passage of the new minimum wage, the TUC says inflation has seriously eroded the positive impact of the rise as prices of goods have gone up, even when payment is yet to be effected. Ismail, I don't know what these guys want. Yes, there's inflation in the land, and government in the last, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, in the last 4 or 5 years, it has been on the steady decline. Now, when you are talking after signing the 30,000 naira minimum wage, are they saying is TUC, are they saying it should have been more than this 30,000 naira?
Well, I think if you, for those who have been following journalists hangout on this particular issue, I think at every point when we discuss it, we take them through the historical background of the issue. The truth is that at the onset, what Labour was asking for was far above 30,000. I think it was about 60 or so, 56 or there at one point, you know, and before they now agreed on, 30. Now, it is true. We all, like somebody said recently, that look, when you say Nigerians' lives are improving, that we should feel it. It should not be in theory. we all know the situation of things. But I will appeal to Labour that, look, we have to start from somewhere. If the man had not gone ahead, if the president had not gone ahead to sign the bill into law, perhaps we would have been saying he only made, an empty promise. But he made a promise. The National Assembly also supported, and today we have a law. I will appeal to Labour that let us see how far this one go first.
You know what I'm thinking about? I'm looking at the 30K itself. Already, the number of states that will be able to pay it.
No,
you're talking about.
We have said it here severally that most of the states may not be able to pay because Zamfara, for instance, is not even paying 18,000 naira yet. No, that's the truth. Zamfara is not paying 18,000 naira. But I tell you one thing. If the political office holders are sincere, honestly speaking, even if they cannot pay the 30, they will be able to pay far above 18. How? By reducing the excess luggages they carry. For example, most of the states, there is no political office holder that earns less than 50,000 naira. Most of the states. That's
of
minimum.
course, if a political officer.
Now, if we say that is minimum, for example, there are some states you have about 300 and something.
Over.
No, I'm just giving a conservative figure. Now, out of those 300, maybe only 15 or 20 will be effective and efficient. So what it means is that with those 15 and 20, you are good to go. So if you are good to go with 15 and 20, why keep 350 or thereabout? So cut those ones, their wastages, and plough back the money. Again, even within the civil service, apart from this ghost worker of a thing, there are still some persons that are not needed within the civil. For example, in an agency, you have just one car, but you have 6 drivers. So what would they be doing? 6 drivers to one vehicle. So what it means that you need just one. So remove those ones. So by the time they cut down all those wastages, they will be able to pay this money. That is my own assumption.
What is TUC trying to tell us? Inflation had already eroded the gains of this 30,000 naira.
It's true. There's nothing that they have said that is wrong. The old minimum wage, what it could buy, the new minimum wage cannot buy. Why? Because we've witnessed devaluation of our currency since the last time that minimum wage was increased. During that period, look at petrol, for example. Look at petrol, that the president increased from, I think, 90 to 145. Nearly everything that we are doing, even what you are wearing, is a petroleum product.
Affected all facets of life.
You see, there's nothing in Nigerian recent history that has worsened inflation like the increase in the pump price of petroleum. Because of the size of the increase. The size of the increase led to higher food prices. Even school fees were immediately jacked up in response to a new pump price of petrol. So when you bear this in mind, you see clearly, because it's so easy. If you look at what was Naira exchange for, exchange to the dollar for during the Jonathan era, and you look at what it is now, that means what our currency could purchase at that time, it can't purchase now, and we are an import-dependent nation. So virtually everything will be affected by the fact that your currency has undergone devaluation. Yes, you talked about the fact that, okay, inflationary rate has been going down, but not significantly. All those ones, all those little decreases in inflationary trend that we expect, they are not significant for anyone to jubilate about.
It has not gone to the single digits yet.
Yes. You know, I always say that, look, when we talk about these things, I'm concerned about the common man. You talk, oh, Nigeria, our GDP is rising. I'm interested in the rise of the per capita income of the average Nigerian. That's what bothers me, is the per capita income. Some of those small countries around us, their per capita income is higher than ours. Which means it will be, I mean, life will be more beneficial to people in those areas than in our country. This is the hard truth. 30,000 naira, you and I know that is probably even the school fees. School fee for one child.
Not
if you want to,
that will be the lowest of the lowest.
It depends.
In Lagos.
No, it depends. It depends.
Maybe
not every Nigerian lives in Lagos.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
Okay.
I'm not even outside of Lagos. Some communities close to Lagos, you can still get schools where people pay, and it doesn't mean that the quality of education is that bad. I've seen a security guard struggle to send his children to private schools. And when you hear the English spoken by those children, you'll be amazed. Sometimes it's not the size of what you pay that is the issue. It's the quality of instruction. And the quality of instruction in some schools that we see as poor is actually impressive. You see those private schools and those public schools in Lagos, you see products of those public schools when they do this spelling bee. You see those children, they move on when you monitor them, because when I was editor of PM News, we monitor those children right up to university. You see that those boys are truly geniuses. Some of them will score even 9 distinctions after winning that thing. 9 distinctions. One of them, I remember one of them even scored the first class in engineering at Unilag. So it's a public school. So the quality of instruction from a poor school may actually be better than what you get in some of those glorified and overrated schools. So, but the point that I'm making is that anyone who wants to give his children the best, he knows that 30,000 is not even enough to pay the school fees of one child. And then, after paying school fees, won't you do other things? Won't you feed them for the whole month? On the average, how much do you need to feed a child? So when we do the math, we break all these things down. You see the point that they are making. That currency, look, if this 30,000 was paid 6 years ago, what it can do at that time
cannot be compared.
It can't be compared to what it can do now.
All right, still to come. Power generation wobbles as national grid collapses twice in 9 days. We'll be right back after this timeout. It's Journalist Hangouts. Stay with us. Well, welcome back. It's Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental. And the wobbling and fumbling power supply situation in Nigeria continues unabated. Key players in the electricity sector appear helpless and incapacitated as available data show that the country's national grid collapsed twice in the past 9 days. According to the figures from the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, electricity generation in the country crashed from the 2,548 megawatts recorded on the 14th of April to as low as 18 megawatts on the 15th of April. Since then, the generation has been fluctuating between 3,897 megawatts and 5,154 megawatts. Hope of redemption appears dim. Ismail, sometimes, I grew up in an environment where they tell you when it's rainy season, said water level is high. And there's stability for some months, and all the dams and everything, the water current, they can actually generate and everything. I don't understand what is happening now, because by the time you see government officials, especially my Minister of Power, Works and Housing, is saying that Nigerians enjoy, relative comfort when it comes to power supply. It's not up to 1 month that he made that statement. Right now, we are witnessing total collapse.
Well, let me borrow from my senior brother here, Mr. Otitoju. You see, when you are working, sometimes it's good to talk less. Let us see the results of your work. Because you see, if you are not careful, when you talk too much than you work, you are likely to talk yourself into trouble. You will recall very well in the build-up to 2015 election, when the APC was campaigning very seriously to take over power at that point. Mr. Minister did say that 6 months is enough for any serious government that knows what it is
2014.
to fix power. He said it. I don't know, maybe it was, I don't know.
Video. There's a video.
I don't know whether,
I saw the video.
I don't know if,
He's on YouTube.
Remember that he said it.
I followed this.
He said it on video.
Now,
on YouTube, he's there.
Now, I don't know if that was what informed him being posted to that minute, because if you recall,
so I can do the
if you recall under Obasanjo
it was
too,
a colloquium. It was the Bola Tinubu colloquium.
if you recall under Obasanjo too, when Letige was also boasting about his prowess,
that he could turn stone to bread. I remember, maybe in 2001
Obasanjo took him to power sector. And he was almost demystified in that sector.
No, he was demystified.
Now,
he had to be
there's one challenge. I don't know how we can deal with it. I was reading a piece by Simeon Kolawole, former editor of This Day. He said he stumbled on, I think it was a government paper or two, I can't recall, about the power sector, and that as he was reading it, that everything he read there was as if they were still happening. Whereas those things was written about 83 or so, and that all those challenges that we had concerning power sector in the 80s are the same challenge we are still battling with.
The population has expanded.
The question now is, what is really happening? When I learned of this system collapse, I was thinking that maybe within a few days it will be fixed. But the area where I stay, I think since yesterday morning, we have not seen light. And as at 4 o'clock, when I was on my way here, I called. They said they had not brought light. Now, what it means is that we don't know how long it will take for this to be restored.
You'll have to run on generator.
You know, but you see, the thing is, I don't know why it is difficult for us to fix the challenge we are confronting in the power sector. We privatize this sector so that we can have the best, but it appears it is even worse than when we had NEPA. I don't know. That is the way.
We didn't totally privatize.
You know, that is the way. That is the way I say. But you see,
but
you see, whether we unbundle or not, if you have,
we're not getting results.
We're not getting results. If you have this scope, and you say you can do it better, why should I give you from this scope for you to? I thought that you should bring everything you think you want to have and compete with my own company that is, that is producing. So sometimes government policy too is also part of our challenge.
Jide, if you remember, I think because of when Jonathan went into this roadmap, power sector roadmap, the PACN was unbundled, and we had the DISCOs and the GENCOs, and the agreement we went into with those people, according to the minister now, Minister Fashola, it's a kind of very, very, tight agreement that any government cannot. They envisage this kind of situation that would not make any government get there and be able to pull out of that agreement without burning, burning bridges or having a kind of backlash. What I'm asking now, when will be the end of these contracts with these DISCOs and these GENCOs, so that government can look at the whole thing again to re-strategize on who to sell this power stations to?
You see, I'm against simply looking at DISCOs and GENCOs and imagining that they are the problem. And I've said it repeatedly, and I will say it again, that the power sector runs on a tripod, and the weakest link is transmission.
It's controlled by governments.
And that is the sector,
controlled by
that is
government.
the subsector that we did not privatize. Because what are we talking about? The GENCOs have the capacity to generate 10,000 megawatts. That is agreed. In the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing document, it's there. They can generate, they have installed capacity of 10,000 megawatts. But we cannot transmit above 5,500 at this stage. The highest we reached was last year, 5,222. I was impressed when I heard that on April 19, they transmitted 5,154. But it didn't last 24 hours. Just like the other one.
Crashed.
Just like 5,222 last year. By 21st, it had dropped to 3,897 megawatts. Look at the fluctuation. This thing has to be, we must achieve a kind of equilibrium. If you are generating 10,000 megawatts, then the discos should be able to distribute 10,000 megawatts. Then the transmission company of Nigeria, which we have not unbundled, should be able to transmit. As long as we have not been able to align all of these three subsectors of the power chain, honestly, we are just wasting our time. Then the era of saying, oh, because water level has gone up, that era is gone. Obasanjo came to build 10 new power plants. So we no longer rely on hydro. We have 24 power plants in Nigeria. We no longer rely, mark the word rely. We no longer rely. Obasanjo, we have 24 power plants. 21 of them are gas-fired. Then we have 3 hydro plants.
Okay.
Egbin alone can deliver in excess of 2,000 megawatts because Egbin is the biggest in West Africa.
It has been upgraded.
Yes, it's been upgraded from the Jonathan era. Egbin alone can give you in excess of 2,000 megawatts. The installed capacity of Kainji was 700 megawatts. And after Kainji, we have the smaller hydro plants, Shiroro and Jeba. So,
what is in Papalanto?
It's a gas-fired plant, just like Omotosho, Geregu, and the rest of them. They are all power plants that that Obasanjo started. It was Jonathan that finished those power plants. And we are beginning to sell some of them even now. We are selling some of them because this government inherited and then worked on some of them. The government has invested so much. This government has invested so much in the transmission grid. But it will take a while before we solve those problems. And what people also don't talk about is the problem of gas. Seven GENCOs not working currently because they are owing gas suppliers. So if they don't work, because the way to solve the problem...
And we have gas too, NLNG.
We have gas in abundance. We are even flaring. But these power plants are owing gas suppliers. And if they don't give them gas, how do they generate? And if they don't generate enough, we will suffer system failure. Because there's an equilibrium that you must reach to escape the system collapse. So gas constraints, I'm telling you, gas constraint alone ensures that we lose at least 2,000 plus megawatts. Gas constraint, we have not solved it. How do they intend to do it? I've read even the regulator saying, they are going to unbundle the discos. They are going to dismantle the discos. We give the impression as if the discos are simply the problem. Yes, go ahead. It's a good thing. Let them, the monopoly that the discos have, let's destroy the monopoly. But That is not the only problem. That's why I've said, look, you look at TCN, you look at Gencos. Gencos have problem with paying for gas because you build power plant, you are not thinking of how to get gas supply to the power plant. So that's a problem. Seven Gencos not working out of 21. And we don't want to experience problems. We are deceiving ourselves. We don't like the truth. We are deceiving ourselves. Because what's the point of telling me that you can generate 10,000 mega, you move generation to 10,000 mega. Transmit it. Transmit it. Transmit even 5,500 megawatts, let us see. Because without doing that, we are just hardly better than, you know, sometime last week when you even looked at, we didn't even generate more than 1,000 megawatts, 1,100, 1,800. You know, in some cases. That's why some people will have light, others will not have. And those who have light will now be shouting that, oh, electricity has improved. Meanwhile, it is not like that across the country.
Load shedding.
I'm happy that they are even on their own, that the ministry is admitting that these problems are there. So it validates what some of us have been saying, that there are problems. Let's fix these problems for our own good.
All right.
That's the thing.
Okay, moving on now. In a country where celebration of mediocrity is gaining constancy, acts of integrity and virtues usually go unnoticed. But people of Osun State, they call themselves State of Osun, choose to celebrate excellence when they rolled out the red carpet for an unusual police officer who served in the states. The people of the state of Osun, including the governor of the state, that is Boyega Oyetola, honored the immediate past commissioner of police, Olafemi Adeoye, when he was transferred from the states for his uprightness and dedication to duty. Let's get some of the views on this commissioner of police.
I found him to be a professional security operative, a perfect gentleman. Before I met him, a lot of people also tell me that I think the CP is a Christian to the core. He's a Christian to the core. In Nigeria, when they tell you a policeman is a Christian to the core, you're wondering what are the yardstick for judging that. But like the Bible tells us that we must live by our work. That means it's his work that spoke for him.
We see him as a man that has respect for other human beings.
The former commissioner of police,
he hates bribe,
State of Osun,
just
my
like
friend,
everybody we hate
my boss,
evils.
CP.
We are celebrating him because of the fact that he did his best, give us the best, preach the best, and ensure that he practiced the best.
The encomiums make me to strive to do better. And I will be counting on God. Seeking for His grace. So for the enablement to do better. For the grace to add value to wherever He places me.
Super Cup there, Olafemi Adeoye. Ismail, we still have them.
I will want to name him Iwafemi because it was his
Character brought
character. It was his character that brought him out. There are so many things that the man did in Osun that show clearly that he stands out. For example, I was discussing with some of our colleagues on ground there. They said even when NUJ had crisis in Osun, it was this man who helped to resolve the crisis. During his reign in Osun, he ensured that those policemen that collect money between Oshogbo and Ikirun, Oshogbo, Boganda, you see on the road, he cleared them. Roadblock. And in their place, he ensured there was regular night patrol. During his time too, crime rate reduced considerably. And he was rated by the PCRC, this police committee, as the best so far in the history of Osun State. It's a rare feat. And that goes to show that no matter how rotten a system is, you can still find the good ones,
outstanding ones,
you know, among them.
Do you know, we make it a point of duty anytime the police, they're not doing well, to condemn and criticize them on the show. But on the flip side of it, we make it also our responsibility to point out these ones that they've done, that they are outstanding in their responsibility and duties. We have them like that across the country. Yeah. Make no mistake about it, we still have good people in the Nigerian police force. Yes. And Olafemi Adeoye is one of those such good officers.
You know, I talked about the day we had a changeover from the outgoing IG to the new IG. And I described him as someone you cannot bribe. You can't bribe Fimiho. It's just impossible. With what are you going to bribe him? Money? No, he will not take it from you. And you can't bribe him with women. Because some people, once people know that this is his weakness is anything in skirt, they will now use...
Even though if you don't collect money,
yes, we have... there are people like that in Nigeria. Emirs, people, governors, people in big places, they look for what they are crazy about and use it to settle them. You know? So, but in his own case, you can't. And if they bring gifts for him that he cannot reject, he will take it and deliver at an orphanage. This is his nature.
Integrity.
This is his nature. You can't. And he is one of the best operations police officers in our country today. You know that he was the deputy commissioner of police in Rivers. And then he was moved before the election. Strategically, they moved him. Somebody complained.
He won't play ball.
So they moved him to Anambra. The demolition of the homes of those ritualists and kidnappers in Anambra, it was Fimiho that led the demolition. So he's a fantastic operations person. You see the rate at which in Osun State they were discovering the dens of ritualists, people who are killing innocent people for their body parts and all that. If you go down the memory lane, you see that consistently he was smashing those gangs because that is his area of strength. And when I decided to dig further about his roots in Ijagbo, Kwara State, they said his father, Joseph Adeoye, was just like that. That in the church, in the Baptist church where his dad was popular, if they wanted someone to confirm the truth of anything, it is that Baba Joseph Adeoye that they will call. And once he says it, everybody will agree because they know that he's a very truthful man. This man, Fimiho, served in Akpata. He was DPO in Akpata, in Ibadan. And one other station. He went to the point of, in front of the station, he constructed a board where he put bail is free. So that as you are coming into the police station, I think it was a challenge that he was posted to, challenge and Akpata. He put it there so that as you are coming in, so that his own officers and men will not be able to extort money from people in form of bail. You will see it clearly that bail is free. So these are the kind of people that we need in the police. In police, where we have all kinds of undesirable elements, using guns to harass people who will be drunken and be carrying guns despite being
collect
drunk.
Ransom.
Collect ransom. Police forming kidnap gang. Police in Nigeria forming kidnap gang. And collecting ransom and being arrested at the point of collecting the ransom. So you can imagine. But the police, the good thing is that we still have good people. I said it before one day. I don't know if my was there when I talked about this, Ahmed Daku. That all Ahmed Daku, the retired army officer, all he's after is simply to pray to his God. Those people, they are incorruptible. So our country needs people like this.
Ismail, why
give them a role to play?
That's my point now. Why is it that people like this, when it comes to selecting the Inspector General of Police, they don't rise to that level? That is when we know of quota system. That is when we know that, something will just pop up.
Politics.
Politics. Because somebody said it that you can only get to Commissioner of Police on merit. The rest
is politics.
It's political.
No, you see, the truth is, each time we are discussing about integrity and talking about Buhari say Megeskia, I tell people that there are so many Megeskias around. So many of them. So many of them. But you see, the problem with us in this country is that deep inside us, we know people who are good. But when it comes to fixing them where they are supposed to perform, that is when, we bring in all manner of sentiment. But you see, whether we like it or not...
And if they don't have godfathers.
Whether we like it or not, somehow, some of these people
might be posted to oblivion
now. We'll still get to...
We'll still get to where it doesn't look like...
Just before now, I was asking...
You know your people the way they reason.
Yeah, no, well, at least we have to say the truth.
I was asking
him... It's good.
The thing is good.
It's good.
Wherever they choose to post him, it's their problem.
We hope that someday, people like him will sit atop the top echelon of the
and help us to fix the
police. And we won't forget,
once the leader is upright,
once you see that you are upright and your bosses see that you are upright, they'll go and post you to training school.
Oh, they'll
go and forget you somewhere.
Even this IG,
like they did for this IGP.
This IG,
they forgot him in training school.
They sent him to Kuru to just go and wait there.
Obscure place.
Not for the training, not for the mandatory training, just to be the representative of the police.
Just get out of the system.
The day it was announced as IGP, go and check that photograph. Go and check that photograph again, and look at the trouser. The trouser he was putting on the bed.
Spartan
it speaks volume. I won't say beyond that. But you see, we thank God because I'm sure the Hawks would have attempted to scuttle it.
Yes.
But because I remember the day before Ibrahim left the office, all the known sources within the police that I had, they told me there was nothing to show that the man was leaving. That in fact, as at 7 p.m. of the day preceding the day he left, former IGP, that he was preparing to go and attend I think there was a ceremony.
People kept saying it would be the one that they will use during the election.
You understand, So, and I think that Nigerians too must be consistent. Because sometimes when we are consistent in our agitations, even when the government don't like what we are saying, they usually succumb to do it. I'm sure the agitations of Nigerians helped in forcing the government, to do it. So I encourage Nigerians.
The former IG had become an embarrassment. You go to a state like Imo, and then you transferred from the level of DCO, you just transferred everybody. Because of what? It was the president that overruled him and said those people should go back to their work because elections were coming.
They were giving the commissioner of police
almost every month. Every month you change the police commissioner. So that's the level to which the police are sunk. And we need the man who is there now to make that force better. He made that promise. And I said it, I told him that the embarrassment in Kogi, that I will sit on the matter. I just decided that, okay, let me even give the thing maybe about a week's break. But the character who withdrew policemen from the court in Kotonkarfi, where a judgment was about to be given, so that the judge will be scared of the possibility of violence and not give his judgment. The IG has a responsibility to Nigerians to fish out that person. We want a better country. Yeah. We want a better police force. A police force that Nigerians will be proud of. And when those things are happening, there's no way we can have a better police force. Why withdraw people who are meant to guide a judge? What are they turning our country to? A banana republic? A country of jesters? Is that what they want to turn our country to? The IG has that responsibility. And I put it to him that he must find the person who took that decision, and disciplinary measures must be taken. Because we are stakeholders in the rebuilding of Nigeria, in the better governance of Nigeria. And we will continue to talk about that matter, that Kogi matter, until this current IG does something about it.
And we continue to commend Olafemiyo Adeoye of this world in the Nigerian police force and in all strata of our lives.
Wherever policemen are doing well, if we identify them, we will give them their due. This maybe one day we'll do a special, even on the Super Cup in Abuja. Who is doing a tremendous work in identifying kidnappers.
And they must do something about this Kaduna Abuja road. That Keteri, that spot, that has been the same spot that armed robbers, kidnappers have been operating for decades.
Thank you so much, Ismail Omikuno. Thank you so much for this edition. Thank you so much. Abakari, Super Cup. Good one.
We appreciate you. God will bless you and preserve your life.
Great one. And the maestro himself, thank you so much for this edition. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/TBC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tbcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.